Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2081. Today is always super fantastic and sparkling. We have a Zephy update for you as well. You can see her ears right there because Mama has the treat jar with her. This is what we take when we go for a walk. We have our training treats in here and our mini marshmallows. Let's see if we can get her to come up. She'll try and come here. Oh, that little tail's going waggity, waggity, wag. Come here. Come say hello. There you go. Sit there. Good girl. Good girl. You're not getting many of these. So we had a vet visit today, and I found out from last week. So actually, today's been a very interesting. I'm going to start at the beginning. Woke up. Didn't sleep very well last night. Okay. Can you say hi to everybody? Go hi. Say hi. Okay. You can go back down again. There you go. Here you go. Sit. Good girl. There you go. That's it for now. You get some more on the walk. So I didn't sleep very well last night. So this is all tied in with why today is always super fun. I couldn't fit in no matter what happens. Today is always super fantastic and sparkling. That was very long. So I chopped it down to today as always. Anyway. So I didn't sleep very well last night. I kept getting up and down like every 90 minutes to 2 hours throughout the entire night. I finally got up like around 4:30 and I wasn't feeling the greatest. And I was like, really don't feel good. I really don't want to go and lay down because when I was laying down, I was feeling worse than when I was upright. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Because I don't get sick often. And I was trying to figure out the last time I got sick and I couldn't remember. But anyway, so ended up being sick a couple of times, and this is once before the alarm went off, once after the alarm went off. And my alarm goes off at 5:07, just so you know. And so then I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Because, I've got to get, so I thought I'll go get something in my stomach. I've got some hydration stuff, so let me go take that. I don't want to try any food at that point because the stomach was feeling really weird. It was just awesome. It was awesome. Awful. Actually, what I did first when my stomach was feeling weird, I thought, let me go and get a Digestin, which is a little oil capsule of an oil blend that doTERRA has that helps settle the stomach. And if you've got an upset stomach, it will either calm it down or it empties it. It did the empty side. So, which I was thankful for because getting whatever is out of my system is going to make me feel better. And so did that. And then I was like, what am I going to do now? And so I'm just like walking around. I've got so hang on, I need to take a shower. So let me go take a shower. So I took a shower, got dressed, and by that stage it was like around 6:30 in the morning, and we had to leave at 8 o'clock to take Zephy to the vet today because she had a vet appointment for 8:30. And so we eventually got everything sorted out, managed to get enough strength to take her for a walk. We got home from that. I took some electrolytes. I thought, well, I'm going to change my water container because my water container this is my regular water container, and it needed a good clean. It hadn't been cleaned for a while. So I thought maybe that might have something to do with it. So I got another container and used that for water. Then we went off to the, I didn't have anything to eat. Did I? No, I didn't. I didn't have anything to eat before that. So we went off to the vets. We got there just before 8:30. So we were perfectly fine. We got checked in and they took us back to room 6. And when we went in there, the receptionist told us that they had an emergency case that had come in. And so there's a lot of people were tied up with the emergency case that had come in. So I might be sitting for a while with Zephy in this room waiting for the tech to come in to take her back to have her blood work done. I said, that's perfectly fine. Totally understand. Emergencies first, not a problem. And so we're sitting there and all that. And 5 minutes later, the tech comes in. And I thought, well, that wasn't that long. And so anyway, we do all the check and stuff. He takes Zephy back to get her thing, and I can hear her. And actually, for once, I didn't actually have to walk her to the door. Normally, when he heads to the door, she starts walking back towards me. This is what she's always done. And so I get up and I walk to the door with her, and then she leads everybody through the door. Herself, the tech, he closes the door, I go sit down. So that's what we did. And I could hear her crying again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate having to put her through this stress. Oh, but I had also made her eat breakfast this morning too. Last time she didn't have breakfast, and I found out her blood glucose levels was at 75. The low of the range for blood glucose levels in a dog is 73. So they said she was on the low side of normal. She was at 75 last time, but she hadn't had anything to eat. She had been for a walk. She had her her morning treats that she gets with her medication, and she had her treats on the walk. That was all she had. And these are what we're talking about with the treats. So she gets 4 of the training treats, 2 marshmallows to go with her meds, which are put into these little tiny things that are called churu, CHURU, and they're little things about this big. They've got a creamy center, so you just push the tablet into the creamy center, and she loves them. And these ones are actually very healthy for her, which is the reason I changed from the brand I was using before. So that's what all she'd had last time. This time I sprinkled some liver I call them sprinkles, dog food sprinkles. It was just powdered liver, powdered dry liver, sprinkled it on her food. So she actually ate about a quarter cup before we went for a walk. I thought, okay, that's not too bad. We'll see if we can get her to eat some more when we get home. And she didn't. And so we left, and so she'd had her morning treat. Oh, and then when we're on a walk, she gets 2 training treats and 2 marshmallows when we're on our walk. So she'd had all of that this morning, plus her quarter cup of dog food, and we went off, and I thought, I wonder what it's going to be today. And got on the scales, and she was at 20.7 kilos, which is about 44 pounds. And I was like, I think she was at 43 last time. I couldn't remember. I'd have to go back and have a look at the records. Sorry, I got here where it shouldn't be, in my face. And so she's out getting her blood taken, crying up a storm. Then all of a sudden, everything just goes very quiet. Like Zephy just zips it. I don't know. I didn't know why at the time, but she just went really quiet and stopped making her noise. And I thought, I hope she's okay. And then Zephy starts up again. I go, oh, there she is. She's back again. She starts up again. So I'm not sure why she went really quiet until a few seconds later, after she started up again, I hear this wail coming from one of the exam rooms. And I was like, somebody's just lost their pet. I don't know if it was a cat or a dog that was in the emergency, but I figured out that whoever had brought in that emergency animal, the animal had just passed. And they were informing the family that the animal did not make it from the emergency it had been brought in for. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying hard not to cry because my heart's going out to these people. I have no idea who they are. I don't even know what type of animal they had as a pet. But my heart was going out to them. And about 5 minutes later, the vet came in first with Zephy behind. And I said, did somebody just lose their pet? And she went, yeah, it was the emergency. And I was like, so it was not a good start to the so it's been an interesting start to the day. And I just felt for these people that had brought their pet in for an emergency, whatever, and the pet didn't survive. So I thought that has got to be one of the hardest ways to lose a pet. The 2 dogs I have lost previously, we have assisted across the Rainbow Bridge because they were just at the end of it became a question of quality over quantity at that point for both of them. And I know how heart-wrenching that was, but to lose a pet suddenly like that had to be hard. So I don't know who these people are. I don't know what sort of animal they are, but I'm sending up prayers for them and their family as they're going through this time of grief for their pet that they suddenly lost this morning. And all of this is before 9 o'clock. This is all before 9 o'clock. We're out of there at 9. We were out of there at 9 o'clock. Got checked out, got Zephy in the car, and we just tootled on home. And I was like, oh, I'm going to need to get something to eat when we get home. So I have some sourdough bread in the fridge. And so I thought, okay, it's frozen. Actually, it's in the freezer. It's frozen, but sourdough is meant to be really good for the digestive system. So maybe I've got some Manuka. Still have some Manuka honey. Got this little jar that I purchased ages ago, and honey does not expire. So I thought, I wonder if I've got enough for a couple of pieces of bread. So I made that up, and it was my mastermind group meeting this morning as well. So I had missed the first. Let's see, I got home at 9:30, just before 9:30. I was online 10 minutes later, so we started at 8 o'clock. So I missed the first 90 minutes, but was there for the rest. It was great. It was awesome. The whole time my stomach's going, yeah, do we want anything? Do we not anything? As I kept having to take myself off camera so I could eat because I don't like eating on camera. And just, I had these 2 pieces of bread. I had them cut into 3 bits so I could nibble on them throughout the morning. And that started helping settling everything down. By the time the mastermind ended, it had been a really good session too. That was a really, really good session. I had no idea what they were talking about the first 90 minutes, but the rest of it was awesome. So when the recording comes out, I'm going to go back and watch the first 90 minutes and jot down some more ideas and notes and things. It did get the gray matter spinning a little bit, but the gray matter's been a little slow today. And I even made it on time tonight. Wow. And so after that finished, I was sort of like, okay, I've eaten the bread and that went fine. Let me try some toast. Oh, I'm going to make some toast and have that. And that's gone down fine. And then I was just sort of like just dragging. And so Zephy wanted outside. It was supposed to be 99 today, which is Fahrenheit, which is 38 degrees Celsius. Yes, it's hot. And so I went and sat out, and I said to Zephy, I said, do you really want to sit out here for now? And she just looks at me and lays down on the ground there on the patio rug. And I'm like, okay. So I sit in the chair, put my feet up there. And we've got these club chairs that fold up. You know how you see all those folding chairs that give you the straight back, the arms and the seating piece? This one is like a club chair. It's got the armrest comes up and then it goes all the way around to your shoulders. So I just like snuggle down a little bit, and then it's at the right height for the back of my neck to hit the back of the thing. And I actually dozed off for probably about 30, 40 minutes. And I woke up and Zephy's sitting there looking at me. And she's just down on the floor just looking at me and going, And she slowly gets louder. This is what she does in the middle of the night. If I'm sleeping, she'll start the whining at a low volume and just slowly gets louder and louder and louder. And then out of sheer desperation, she'll like shake to make her tags go jingle, jingle, jingle. She's got her system worked out. It works very well. And so I said, yeah, let's go inside. And so I went inside. I cleaned out my water cup so I could use it again because I hadn't used it all that morning. I pulled another one out to use. And so I got that all cleaned up and everything else and put some fresh water in there and had some more hydration stuff because I was feeling very dehydrated. And then basically I was just like, I am so tired. So I thought, I'm just going to lay here on the couch and maybe we'll put the TV on, put a movie on or something. And once I lay down on the couch, I got comfy. I said like, yeah, no. And so I slept basically all afternoon. I got up probably about half an hour ago. Yeah. Just in time to come on and do this. So I'm still feeling very whatever. I don't know what was going on with my system. I haven't thrown up since this morning, and everything else seems to be working fine. Just sort of like just feel very drained. And so I thought, okay, the body's telling me you need a break. You need to rest. So that's basically what I've been doing today, listening to my body, taking the time out. Sometimes we don't know why we get sick. We may never know why we get sick. Was it food poisoning? Was it something that just didn't agree with our system? And I thought, I don't know what it was. Didn't eat anything out of the. Well, I did have fast food last night. It was Friday. I haven't had fast food. Let's see. A couple of weeks ago we did Carl's Jr. a couple of weeks ago. So we did the habit last night. And so was it something like then? But then I remember back to my food safety and sanitation thing about with food poisoning and the incubation time for food poisoning. And I thought it's not food poisoning from what I had last night because the incubation time was too short. Can't remember what it is, but I know it's more than 12 hours. It's more than 20. I think it's at least 24 hours. And it can be anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, which is why when you report food poisoning, they ask you to go back and recreate what you ate over the last 72 hours. Because food poisoning can go from 24 to 72 hours before it appears. So figured that wasn't that from last night, so I have no idea what it is. But, stomach's feeling good. It's a little queasy every now and again, but I haven't thrown up again. And peppermint didn't smell like peppermint today. There was one point where I thought my stomach was going to get queasy again, so I did my roll-on peppermint on the inside of my wrists here, just so I could smell it, and it didn't smell like peppermint. And I kept checking the label going, that says peppermint, and I don't refill these bottles. So I don't know what was going on. For some reason, when I was smelling this earlier today, it did not smell like, it had a mint smell to it, but it wasn't peppermint. See, now it smells normal. This morning, when I was sitting here on my mastermind, this did not smell like peppermint. It smelled like something minty, but not peppermint. So I don't know what was going on. So whatever it was affecting the senses in some way. But starting to feel better again. And so now we're going to go and see if we can go for a walk. Problem is it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is high 30s still on the Celsius side. So might wait till the sun actually sets and then go for a walk because that gets cooler then. But it was 60. I was out walking in my t-shirt. Normally I put a jacket on in the morning to go for a walk, and this morning I didn't do that. It was just too hot. Oh, hey, that's what I haven't checked. Haven't checked my temperature today. I better go do that because I'm feeling a little over warm, and I know the AC is on because I had it coming on for 75 degrees, keeping us at 75 today. So, and I typically don't get hot at 75. So, but so that's and sorry, did I not tell you? Back to Zephy. So her blood glucose today was 93, and the vet was very, very happy with that. And she says, how's she doing otherwise with food and all that? I said, well, the last week she's not drinking as much water as she is. I said she has a 64-ounce bowl, and during the day I have a 32-ounce cup, and I will take that 2 to 3 times a day and fill up her water when it gets down to the halfway mark. And I said, I've done it. I'm doing it like once a day now, and it's usually and maybe a top up in the evening, but she's not drinking anywhere near the amount of water that she's drinking, even though the temperatures are going up. I think she'd be drinking more. And I said, as far as her food goes, normally I give her a cup for breakfast, a cup for lunch, and a cup for dinner, because with her blood glucose, we have to try and keep her fed constantly. And she has a few treats in the morning, and then in the afternoon she has her jerky stick, and then in the evening she has a couple of treats after her walk, along with her meds. So I said to her, she's not eating as much as she normally eats. I said, I'll put breakfast out, and she may eat some before lunch. She may not. I said, but that breakfast could be sitting there from in the morning until we get home from the walk, and then she decides she's hungry and she goes eat. I said, but then I put some more food in there for her later in the evening before I go to bed, because I want to make sure that if she gets hungry during the middle of the night, that she's able to eat, and we don't risk her blood glucose dropping to dangerous levels. And the vet says that's very wise. And so she said, well, that's good that she's starting to regulate herself on her food and her water. And the vet was totally fine with it, because she says at this time of the year when it starts heating up, dogs don't eat as much as they normally do. And I'm sort of like, yeah. I said, well, I'm just concerned about 15 hours in a crate with a flight to New Zealand. And it turned out, and I totally did not pick up on this until we left, but the tech that we had, his dog had the canine insulinoma, passed from that. And it just totally went in one ear and out the other. But it stuck later on when I was driving. I thought, I should have asked him some questions about it, like what I can expect, how long, blah, 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 blah. Did he do the surgery? What sort of, what treatment plans he had and all of that. And so I totally forgot. So I'm hoping he's going to be our tech next time, and then I can ask him some more questions. But yeah, I totally missed the fact that he mentioned his dog had the canine insulinoma. And anybody else I've talked to about it with dogs, that nobody knows what it is. Nobody. And this was the first time somebody had mentioned it. And he mentioned his dog had, and I totally checked out. This is what happens when the grey matter's not 100%. So, and I'm talking about what's in here, not what's here. So anyway, with that, that's our thing for today. So the vet was very happy to see that she was at 93 for her blood glucose after a quarter cup of food. And after her walk and the car ride and the stress of being out back and everything else that she goes through, that she was at 93. So the vet was very happy about that, about those numbers. And she says, we've got her on the lowest dose possible. I said, well, actually, she's on 2 doses a day. And she says, oh, yeah, that's right. And I said, I want to get her down to 1 dose a day so I don't have to worry about her missing one when she's in transit to New Zealand. And I said, and then I said to her, I says, my goal, my wish, my goal, my belief is that she is going to come to New Zealand with me, that she's going to defy the odds and come down to New Zealand with me and have a good 2 to 5 years with us down there in New Zealand. I said, if it's not in the divine plan for her to come to New Zealand, I said, my prayer is that she goes quickly, and because I don't want her to suffer. And it's a case of quality over quantity. And the vet looks and says, that's a very, very good belief and goal to have. So we're working on that one. We're working on getting her as healthy as we can so she can fly, and that she'll defy the odds and have 2 to 5 years down there. And but next time I'm there, and if that same tech is there again, I'm going to ask him about his dog that had the same condition that Zephy has, and ask him some questions about it, because all you got is what the vets can tell you. And unless you can talk to somebody who has had a dog in the same situation, it's a little hard to, this is what the vet's telling us over here, but in reality, what am I facing in reality? So there you go. That's it for today. Everything's looking good. So we're going to start talking with the transportation guys again, see what they need to do to start what we need to do to start this process. And we'll definitely know better next week 2 weeks when we go back again, it's going to be an afternoon one, so she would have had plenty to eat during the day as well. It won't be first thing in the morning trying to get her to eat breakfast. Yeah, it's really weird. You used to put food out, and she would like stand here right next to me while I'm putting her food in her bowl. Her bowl's on the, this is a crazy dog, bowl's on the left-hand side, food container in the middle, and then Zephy sits, and I'm standing in front of the food container. The bowl's here on the left. Zephy sits right here, watching and waiting. And then once I put the food in, I put the lid back on the container. She then walks around behind me and goes to her food bowl and starts eating. Very polite dog, very patient dog. And I was just like, why are you sitting there? The bowl's over here. You can come stand here and watch. You don't have to stand all the way over here and then walk all the way over there. But who knows? Dogs and their crazy ways of thinking. Love them, love them, love them. Wouldn't be without them. So anyway, with that, we're out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.